The Kickback Show. What's in your cup?
A whole lot of everything, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world. Welcome to the best thing to happen to your entire life. And I know I say that, but I mean it because it's the Kickback Show. I go by the name of Foz, and she is...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Tiana Giovanna, as always. And he is...
DJ Swivel. Anything less would be unswivelized.
You already know. Shout out to Organic Blackberry. It's definitely a family affair. Shout out to my literal cousin, the homie, the big homie, Don Dada, for linking us up with our wonderful, amazing guest for today, Nicholas Mayfield. What's up with you, my brother?
What's up, y'all? Man, it's such a blessing to be on this show, man. How's everybody doing?
Man, we're doing wonderful, man. I'll be a lot better once you give me my hat back, but I'm gonna let you wear it for this interview.
Please believe. I can only imagine.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, we need that. Yeah, we need more smiles. I got you.
Hey, man, and we talk about this quite often, just the beauty of Black people, but I love the innovation and how we can turn, we're almost the authors of pop culture and pop art, to where we take something that's popular and spin it into, what we want it to be and give it a new definition. So yeah, I'm loving the hat, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Make it mean what we want it to mean. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, got a lot to talk about. For those that have never heard the name Nicholas Mayfield, how do you introduce yourself?
Nicholas Mayfield. First, I'm a man of God and a father. I'm a creator of clothing, decor, you name it. I paint on it. I'm a fashion designer. I've been in this industry for 20 years now.
Wow.
I've been blessed to see it all from stores to having my own stores, being in triple digits of stores, traveling the world. And if anything, at this point in my age, all I'm doing is showing that it's all God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. And what in so much to ask, because I clearly am getting excited right now. Because I've always loved fashion and really just started to dive deep into it. But what was your inspiration on getting into it? I'll start with that question first. What was your inspiration in getting into this path?
You know what, to tell you the truth, my inspiration was actually my cousin. We played basketball on the same, team in high school. And I remember we had this t-shirt brand that was terrible that we had to wear for our team, like our shoot-around t-shirts. And I remember my cousin saying, like, man, if I made some t-shirts, man, they'd be 10 times better than this. And I remember looking at him like, what if you can make a line? I know I can make a line that was better than that. Just off making each other laugh and stretching. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then I realized, here I am, a senior, not knowing what I want to do out of college. Everybody knew what they wanted to do. And I started making my t-shirts probably 2 weeks later after that. My goal only was just to be in skate shops. There was a skate shop called CNC Skate Shop. I just wanted to be in 2 stores. That was the biggest thing in Riverside at the time. Like, just to be in some stores, it was just the biggest thing. And I saw that within 2 to 3 years, being able to be in the big boom of like Cosba, Karma Loop, this big online boom, and everything shifted from just buying a t-shirt to everything getting shipped all across the world. And I feel like people don't talk about that, but for our generation, my generation, it was somewhat of a crack movement for these kids, these inner city kids that were just hood kids that were just spray painting and messing up everywhere. And we had a little cult. It wasn't cool to be a clothing designer in 2000, 2001. It wasn't hip. It wasn't urban. It wasn't none of that. It was those, like, I see the shift of it and I've seen it turn over the years. And I think it's actually just a beautiful thing of kicking in the doors, from the black skater to the clothes that we wear. Even if you know Soulful and the history of my brand, the tight denim, all these things I've seen, extended crotch, all these things that I've made, I've seen it come. And I'm just a kid from Riverside. So, like, it's amazing how this has worked. You know what I mean? Like, yo.
Yeah, man.
Can you talk about that a little bit? The history.
I was born and raised in...
Hey, well, you said you were born and raised where?
I'm born and raised in Pomona, so I'm already knowing.
You already know. So I'm saying, I'm sorry, what you said?
Oh no, I was
Go ahead,
just saying, can you dive in a little bit to the history of your brand and kind of tell our listeners what that's all about?
Oh, okay. Well, my brand now is Nicholas Mayfield over everything. I'm also the owner of Soulful Commando. Soulful Commando is my first brand that I started when I was 16, 17 years old. I was a homeless kid with a Bible and a skateboard. I used to stay outside of like hospitals to sleep because it was just a good spot to sleep during the times of like nighttime was yet to stay up. But at the AM, it was a good time to get some rest. I had to sleep at the hotels and look at the nurses with their mocks on and love their characters. And I've always been a cartoonist as a kid. And my first collection ended up being like all over hoodies and all these things during the time that it happened to be the boost of Bathe and Ape, BBC. All this stuff started happening at the same exact time of seeing this big boom of idea t-shirts to just come to the best way of saying it though is that with that big boom, I had a factory, I was able to have a store, I was able to have multiple stores, and my friends were like hundreds to Dennis and Crooks to us versus them. I saw all of us just instantly boom, 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 boom. That I think my brand, I was blessed to be able to design for young money. These opportunities start coming in like ASAP, or even when it comes to now of me doing like Matt Groening from The Simpsons, the creator, or the Migos or Little Pump, all these people that I've done. It's all really off this resume of never stopping. I talked to I remember talking to Russell Simmons once. I remember asking him like, yo, what's the secret? And he was like, never stop. Everybody always try to shake it up. Everybody always trying to switch it up all the time. Nobody just sticks it out and keeps on working. Yeah. And I just remember that I just stuck with that. I was like, it may not pop now or whatever it is, but I've just stuck with my vision. And I've seen it evolve from Soulful Commando, recession drop. I close everything, give up on it. And then I have my daughter. I start everything with painting. And it all comes back over again. This new wave of painting and expression, and this DIY new generation that loves to see it. Because it's a season of the real. People don't want to admit it, but it's a season of the real. The kids decide what is what. It's the real now. Yeah.
I feel like it's always been that way, but to basically stamp what you just said, I feel that we've ultimately normalized it now. To where it's cool to be and to look like an individual. It's cool to be a creative, like that's normal now. Whereas before, you mentioned, 2001, 2002, it was always following the trends, which is why everybody was wearing the throwbacks and the snapbacks and the big jersey, what I'm saying? And then, and everybody kind of, the iceberg.
It was bad. It
was crazy.
White t-shirts, white. You can't knock a white tee. You can never I still will not knock the white tee in the soccer and a pro club. I would never knock it. But I'm just saying, Mitchell and Ness, they made a lot of money.
Yeah, they really did. But I guess you kind of answered the second part of my question, which was, what motivated you to continue going. But I guess, even now, do you see a difference between creators like yourself being Black in the fashion industry, kind of being recognized for your work and being appreciated? Because oftentimes I still kind of come across individuals, or we see it in the media, how celebrities are still supporting the brands that don't necessarily support us. So the Gucci's, the Versace's, they're, Alexander McQueen's versus, them pissing on the likes of Carl Kanai and FUBU, and the Black independent creators. Like, it seems like there's a rise, but do you being in that world, do you see a shift? Do you notice anything kind of being different or?
Like, the best way I can explain it is like in 2000, yes, I do. Okay. And it's because everything is magnified. For example, in 2007, 2008, I was getting clowned on for having these big old baggy MC Hammer denim or MC Hammer pants or MC Hammer sweats.
Me too.
And then
I was always been a bigger guy. Like I was fat, so I was wearing baggy clothes. I was big.
Oh,
but yeah,
man, they didn't like it. I was doing like a tailored ankle. I'm doing tight. Was it pretty much punk and ska denim from my skate days? And what we wore girlfriend's pants. I mean, we never took shower. We were skate kids, man. Have you watched Kids? Have you ever watched Kids?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
We loved each other. Like we were a culture, a different game. You know what I mean? And I seen all that shift, and I remember creating all those looks of like the drop crotch, the pants, and the button ups, and it was good doing Young Money and all that. But I saw a whole decade of my whole collection, never saw a cent, which is normal. I'm good with Carl. TJ Walker of Crossbow is my uncle. Like I consider him my uncle. Like these are people I know, and it isn't. Everything that we create, even though we're the creators, we always get seen as urban. It's like a conversation I had in Vegas at Magic one time. And I remember I was having this discussion with a woman from Off-White, and she was talking about how a little girl needs to just express herself and just have fun. And I said, well, because I have a daughter. And I said, well, me being a Black designer, me being a creator, me being a person that has actually created looks that you're wearing right now, but if I was a different race, it'd be day and night. How can I explain that to my daughter that when it comes to models I'm working with, they have to look a certain way. It's the demagnifying and the delusion of what a person is, of how they have a woman looking when it comes to fashion, or how a model should be not wearing clothes, and all this stuff of a Black guy being urban, or you're being all these things they put us in since this 95 hip hop switch of like how we should be looking. I'm like, how can we change that? And I remember at the time, she's just like, you just gotta let them be who they want to be. And at that point, I realized, like, well, one thing I can say is I've been Black my whole life. And being Black my whole life, I realized that the only way that we've done it in the history and to now is that we've always done that, so we always win. The first will be last, last will be first. This is how it always has worked. And now we're actually beginning to see it. I've seen like me doing a jacket for Gucci. Me doing a jacket and then Gucci stealing that and it becoming the biggest thing. Yeah. And that was just a jacket I created, but then I seen a whole collection didn't get any look 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So I think now that things are magnified, I think it's beautiful because the kids see it. The kids see it like, okay, and there's nobody cooler than we created. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, there's some very powerful stuff in what you're saying, man, because, it on one end, it's kind of like, damn, they jocking my style, and, the ego immediately wants to take over, at least for me. Ego wants to take over to claim that credit, but clearly it seems as though you find inspiration in saying, okay, if a brand that is accepted globally by, this demographic or this market, then that means that I'm onto something, especially if they looking at who I am and where I am in life, you know what I'm saying? And clearly, being a trendsetter, it's like, I'm on the right path to kind of continue to do what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I definitely respect that.
On top of that, it just shows like we've pointed out earlier and even on previous episodes, like, that we shift, the culture, we set the trends, like, mm-hmm. It's coming from, our influence and our creators. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's proof positive, like right there.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be pissed.
Yo, no, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things, I can tell you this. I was pissed when recession hit and I lost everything and everybody left. That's what, and I had 10 years without a car, divorce. I mean, the hit. To this time around, man, it's just resilience. This mug is just, you just realize like, oh, I've already left it and it's come back to me. I know it's God. I just know it's my purpose now. My cousin always used to tell me, you got to be dope to sell dope because dope sells itself. And that's just the best way to explain it. Like, you know what I mean? I talk to like Kenny, I talk to like Kenny Sharp, I talk to people I admire, like, you know what I mean? That, and I'm in the world now that is vice versa. If it comes like David Flores and TJ Walker, all these people that are my five that I talk to, it's like, that's what it's about. It's like, no, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't watch Sports Center.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, like we go after the game, we go back to work, and we keep on shooting, we keep on getting ready for the next game. And you realize a lot of people, they feel that way because they shouldn't be in the game. That's too much for them. That was their that's all they had. Like, no, I am this. So yeah, it keeps coming.
How have you been able to adjust with this, like with COVID, lockdowns, pandemic? Like, have you had to shift your work in any way, or how have you? And if so, how did you have to make a change?
For me, it's been amazing because I'm already this a hermit, and I'm a pain. I'm always just in a little cave as is. So for me, it's been amazing. The reason why it's even been better because this year has actually been a strong family year. I've been around my family a lot, and it's kind of nostalgia of like the 80s that it gives me another pow, like to do it all over again. Everything else beforehand, I felt like, which it always is a rat race. I always explain, like, ever since kindergarten, you never had a chance to think for yourself. It's like it goes to recess and breaks of class to you having, I don't know, a lunch break and going back to work. You just don't have time. That it's good to see America and us create a culture and kind of just stop. If it comes from racial things, it comes from anything. You see the people overall begin to be like, yo, you're seeing these Aquarian grandkids of these baby boomers being like, no. That is just like, oh, okay. It's good to sit back and watch. And for me being a Black creative, it just seems like it's been getting bigger and bigger because more people have time to sit back and actually look at the people that deserve it or been doing things instead of not having time and whatever is going on.
Nice.
And I honestly feel like it's something that is cyclical. I know, without giving too many details, Swivel and I mean, we've been knowing each other for well over a decade. And there were moments in time, like about a decade ago, we had like a talk to where it was like, man, like, you know, just contemplating bringing a child into this world of kind of progressing forward. And, you know, me personally kind of dealing with a level and levels of depression of like, man, like, what am I doing? What am I striving for? What is my motivation? And to continue going and to have a good friend and a family and a community around you that kind of inspires you and motivates you, I think that's where you begin to start to see that resilience, because it motivates you to say, this is what I'm doing it for. You know, once we develop this platform, right, with this podcast, some of the artists that we've had, it's like, okay, this is why we're still going. Once we start having families and kids, it's like, okay, this is what we're doing it for. You know, and it's easy, I think, a lot of times to get lost in a lot of it. You know, you get lost in the sauce when you see everything that's going on around you. But I think, to your point, with this year, to be able to still for an extended amount of time and be able to just observe and not be able to go anywhere, not to constantly be on the go, kind of almost be reduced to an essential job versus all the extracurricular things. And then to go back to your instincts of getting it out the mud, which I think
only way we do it.
That know how to do it.
That's all we do.
I'm saying, you already know. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know, to my point, when it comes to like our grandparents, it's all a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is happened before. They've seen a pandemic. They've seen shutdowns. They've seen the Great Depression. They've seen recessions. They've seen racial tension, you know, but at this point now, it's like, where's your mind at? How are you, one, adapting to the changes that are happening, and then elevating past whatever is being shown to you? You know what I mean? To where you're not falling right back into that normalcy of, hey, this is how things are. You know what I mean? Burgers are not 10 cents anymore. You know? Yeah. As
it usually is. Yep. No, my bad. Finish. My bad.
No. That's pretty much it. I mean, even just to tie it into the work that you do, even just kind of seeing fashion grow and evolve over the course of the past 20 years, even not even with what we wear and how we look, but then how we absorb the information and how we're, how there's independent shops. You don't have to be in a Macy's. You mentioned Karmaloop. I had my partners, shout out to Derek and Mark, and the rest of the crew with 9 grand. You know what I'm saying? Those are my folks, man. Like those are my, man, you feel me? So, and just to see them grow and get into, the street ammo and going out to Vegas for, the magic show. Yeah, man. So it's
and it was beautiful. A different time. We were kids, man.
Absolutely.
We really were. We were really just kids. Even to double back on what you're talking about, like even having a child. And I was talking to my woman even yesterday about it. I was like, the Black experience is so much that you forget you're just a spirit. You don't realize that you're just a spirit on this earth to live a human experience. Because there's so many things that this get boom, 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 boom. That is your card. It isn't a good day, a bad day, and it's your card. And you realize that's why God has you there. That's why you're there in this time. Like, I hope this ain't too much. I was talking to TJ about the different colors and faces that I make in all my paintings. And he was like, the reasoning behind it. And I was like, well, everything around us is ancestors and everything is alive. So everything is little faces. And I was like, and then, because that's how magnificent God is. And then even when it comes to, as I keep on evolving in these things, I realize even when it comes to Black, white, all these things, your great grandma, you got an Asian, you got a Mexican, you got, if you have you have over 100 grandparents in a short amount when you do the doubles with 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. You guarantee do. So you realize the luckiness is just you being Black in this time, in this circle, to be put down on earth to do your job. You realize all these things that why you're strong to go through these, to be the trailblazer. That's why you're put down here when you realize what the circle and the time is. So I just kind of shifted and realized like, yo, what's the resilience? Is this a resilience? You know what I mean though? Because you realize you never had control. Especially in the game, and if you understand even this world that we're in when it comes to the industry, you realize you never had control. So when you come to all these things, you realize it's grace. It's just your working grace.
Well, I think that goes into, and I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. Like when you really sit back and think about every single thing that had to happen in order for you to be in the place that you are in at any given moment. It's mind-blowing to really think that this one thing had to lead to this. And a lot of it has to do with people or places or things that have nothing to do with
nothing to do, man. TJ asked me, he was like, hey, Nick, you need to start speaking more. And I was like, we click so much because we'd rather just do the work and let people see it and us not talk, And I said, but who am I to talk about like, hey, Nick, what's the secret? Like, well, you got to be born in Riverside, California in 83. You got to be raised around hip hop and gangbangers. You got to skate. You got to be most this. You got to be, you know what I mean? I think about all these things that I've done that you realize it ain't me. You're like, it ain't me. Because even my friends and all, we all listen to the same music. I gravitated differently. And all these things you start realizing, like, I don't know how to explain this. When you realize you've given up the will so much because you're so terrible at doing it yourself. Have you guys got to that? You've died so much because you failed so much, giving 100% of thinking you know what to do. That I've just realized that now in my life and seeing how things are happening in my life, I just do the work, and the harvest that God gives is something I can watch instead of like before I would have expectations thinking I controlled it. And it's just day and night different now.
I think when you take those expectations out of the equation, that's when things start to click. I mean, Swivel will be the first person to say, before we met.
Exactly.
Before we met, he was like, I'm done dating. he was done looking for a woman. He was done dating. He was just like, I'm just gonna,
And I went to
around.
I went to Foz. He was working overnights, and like went to him at like 2:00 in the morning, like after I just got off a date, and that's where I was like, yo, that's it. Like, I'm just gonna be content in being single. I'll just casually date, like, but I'm not gonna find the one because all these.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I
he
know.
took the expectation and the search out of his search, I guess.
Yeah. Like
you told me about this year.
Huh?
You told me about this year. You were like, yeah, how was this? We were talking earlier about this year, and I was saying how family's been.
Yeah.
This has probably been the best year for the simple fact of not only like, I love my woman, but me and my woman, I've known her for 11 years, like we're talking about. You got to be, especially me and Marcus and everything, my brothers, we talk about it. At this point in our game, you got to be with somebody that's a homegirl you've known, especially with the new generation, with us and the new generation of how it ain't. Man, what happened to scars and bamboo earrings and like no makeup and just walking after basketball and it's gone. So like, yo, you realize those things, that even the relationship that I'm in is because I let go of it also.
Yeah.
I let go of relationships and even energy and all that. And what came to me was 10 times better than I even could imagine. And so I'm saying, once again, you realize, like, I've tried to do the control thing, or try to look at, or even for example, pick a woman that is my type and think that is my type is not what I needed, or isn't even my type that I really, really want.
Exactly.
I've realized through these situations.
I think it's more than everything that you're saying is all about ego, and I think
letting
that
go
applies to everything. I mean, everything we're talking about, but everything in life. Once you eliminate the ego, the I, you know what I mean? The thought that it revolves around you, that's when the world starts to open up. And Swivel is right. I mean, and we both had the same exact conversation with one another where we was like, bro, like I'm good. Like I'm done. But it's literally an exhaustion because you don't know what you want. You don't know what you need. And you made a good analogy with the whole card. When you play, I'm not a professional card player, but I know when you have a bad hand or what you think is a bad hand, it's not about playing the game, it's playing the player. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a matter of what you do with what you're given. You know what I'm saying? And that old cliche saying, life gives you lemons. It's like you can make lemonade, lemon meringue, you can zest it, put it on a pasta pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do so many different things. And that's exactly, I feel like, what life is.
Yeah. 100%, and that's what I'm saying. I've tried it, and it doesn't work. And if you look on human resumes, it looks great. But me knowing trials and tribulations, it just wasn't worth it. And you know what I mean? Though a lot of those things, like even when it comes for even a black man, a black woman, everything that we do as a people, I feel like instead of us admitting that we are, they always just put us in a box.
Yeah.
No, I am. Like, so you're a designer, you're there. Like, no, I am. I'm just an average black male. I do it all. I'm the creator. I'm the I'm the math. I'm the science. I'm the same thing. I'm the sand people. I'm the indigenous. Whatever you want to see. Like, that it's. I think it's a beautiful time for us, especially for us to sit back and relax. Because honestly, and also the silent generation, the fact that you're seeing the silent generation pass away, we need them right now. That's all we have left of a lot of before integration blackness. You know what I mean?
Real
a lot
talk.
That we need.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yo, man, it's a good time. This year's a good year.
It really is, man. And I appreciate you saying that because it's I see a lot of things opening up. But the one thing that I do recognize is that Black people, the Black community, are becoming more aware, self-aware, and really growing physically, spiritually, emotionally. The conversations, again, we're normalizing things that typically weren't talked about, when it comes to mental health and how we interact with relationships, our relationship with, the
mental
divine,
health,
as well as, man, it's so important. It's so important. And I mean, and that ties into a lot of things because it creates so many insecurities, especially when you start to dive into a career. There's so many different traumas that come from your parents wanting you to do what they want you to do. You know what I mean? Or what they think is best for you, which ain't for you. Or you getting picked on by your friends because you dress a certain
find out the plan.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things,
Man.
but they're not doing nothing wrong if the indoctrination is like, no, this is a good look, but they tried it out. They're like, oh, it don't work. We have our generations, our friends, our sisters and brothers that got multiple degrees. That don't work. So then we realize all these situations, even an entrepreneur, 85%, that don't work. So maybe we should just focus back on our family and God and just actually just enjoy life. Maybe if we stay strong within each other, we can keep on creating. Maybe that isn't what we should be focused at. Maybe we should actually create our own culture for once and change our views on what our priorities are. And I feel like that's what's happening. Because even when it comes to clothing and things moving right now with clothing, it's like, yo, it's cool and it's amazing that people are buying it. But that's not what it's about right now. Like, what are the pieces that we should really be pushing right now? Maybe we should push more blankets. Maybe we should push more coffee cups and kid pieces. And, you know what I mean? It's like you start really thinking about these things. It's like, and I'm a designer, so imagine me being like, oh, this is terrible. But I feel like a creator should be excited about that. It's definitely a new time. A lot of things aren't important. They shouldn't have been important.
Yeah.
Don't miss a beat.
Kick that beat!
Follow us on social media at The Kickback Show. Kickback
On everything.
The Kickback Show.
What's in your cup?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was thinking about what Swivel was saying about the dating scene, and it is really weird. I remember giving that mug up, and how amazing this year has been. You know what's amazing is what I realized what I need is that my woman is actually immaculate, but they never talk about how it's amazing to realize transparency of how much you are whack and how much somebody else is whack.
Yeah.
And how you guys deal with each other, and that's why you guys are together. Like on top of it, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the real reason. It's like, yo, the pixie dust is amazing, but yo, man, everything. I would say, even if it comes from like your family, if it comes to all these scenarios, I've been realizing this year, when you asked me that, I was like, yeah, everything's just forced to be real. Everything just comes more natural root. Everything's organic. Everything, you know what I mean? You have to earn everything again. Like,
Well, and it's funny because I've thought about this several times. Like, 2020 overall, like when you look at the collective, has sucked. But honestly, like, it hasn't been a bad year for us, like, as a family, you know, like at all. Like now, because I remember, back when I have like a regular office job.
Yeah.
But now, I'm in advertising, but now they're like, oh yeah, you just work from home now permanently. And like back in the day, I'd be like, I wish I could work from home like at least a couple days a week, just to have that separation.
Never would have thought.
But now, like now I get to work from home 100%. Like, we moved, we got a hell of a deal on a house because of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I've spent more time with the kids. Ava is like 100% virtual learning, which I'm not mad at. Like, we go on bike rides for her lunch breaks, like things like that.
Real life.
When you really think about it, like, we have been super blessed. Like, we have not been hurting during COVID. Like, that's
all I'm saying. I know the difference between 2009 and this situation. Like, no, this is a day and night situation.
Yeah.
I just think it's beautiful, man.
It is. Not only that, like, I'm in the house with my family all day, every day. And I still like my husband.
Yo, and I'm saying, and look, I got to tell my woman, like, I don't like myself some days.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So you be realizing that, like, yo, man, day in, day out, like, oh, you're here. Oh, okay. All those days that you had time to be on the freeway, always being away, all these things that you still cut it, that you're still good. That is out the way now. That it's like you actually get the medicine you really need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that mug is, I wouldn't trade that in for nothing. That mug is amazing. That's what I'm saying. Even when all the other things that are great on the outside that are going good, there is a big difference between, there's a big like line between the two, because it's like that world and my reality world.
Mhm.
When before it used to be like, that was its life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just beautiful. Yeah.
I always used to tell people like I wanted to start a family at a young age, like mid-20s. But it didn't happen until like right when I turned 30. And as much as I, was fortunate enough to like, travel to other countries and all that kind of stuff, being on stages with the group I was DJing for, like, and performing in front of large crowds, like all that was fun. And I enjoyed those moments, but like, the family moments like are on another level of enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? And part of me wishes that like, some of those experiences I had as far as like traveling and that kind of thing, like I wish I had a family at the time to enjoy some of those moments with, my family members.
Sidebar for you, Swole. What's your favorite sound on the ones and twos? Is it was it the Transformer? Was it the Wikis? Orbits? What? Being a master of the turntables, what's your favorite?
What's my favorite sound?
Yeah.
I like the
that book that has started so much.
Right.
There's so many scenarios. That and sparklers. That and sparklers has started a lot.
I don't even know, man. Like, as far as like a scratching sound, I think the one I use the most is like the chirp and it's called a chirp and a reverse chirp.
Oh, I know the chirp.
Yeah, those are.
And it's not easy.
No, it's definitely like it's a real like intricate timing thing.
It really is.
I've never been like a huge scratch DJ. So I think for me, like, as far as scratches go, it was the chirp, the reverse chirp. And then other than that, like, it's just, I feel like picking the right two songs to blend together, like, makes a huge impact on the vibe of whatever, event, party, concert.
Exactly, the vibe of wherever.
Yeah. So it's I've always like tried to pride myself on like trying to find the right songs to kind of to couple with each other and really kind of like.
Yeah, I think you're really good at that.
Thank you. You just saying
that's
that
beautiful.
for my wife, but
no, I'm not. I'm not. You
Nice.
know. I'm not gonna be like,
I can co-sign.
I love it just because I love
Yeah,
it.
man, you get busy. You get busy, man. You get busy.
I co-sign that.
Yeah,
like it's more and it's a skill. I mean, clearly it can go across any type of industry of just having a knowledge of how things apply to your audience, but Swivel does an amazing job at keeping the vibe exactly where it is and not only just dictating, but then staying in that groove. A lot of times, like I've been around DJs where I'm like, oh yeah, they must be brand new solely off of their song selection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And or I've been around DJs that know how to cut and scratch, but they can't blend with you know what I mean? Or no music capabilities, but technically they some of the nicest, and it's like that's cool, but in a party setting, there's never going to be a situation to where somebody that's trying to get their groove on or trying to escape or whatever they're trying to party for is going to say, yo, I really enjoyed all the scratching that you did over my favorite song. You know what I mean? Like,
yo, sadly to say, but when I was up in high school, my Tunex, Scratch Pickles, Jurassic 5, Dilated People, Visionary Self.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all we cared about. That's all we cared about. What do you mean? Like, we made sure we wore earth tones on purpose.
Right.
We had, puka shells were in the audience.
Well, like
puka shells were definitely in the audience.
I'll be the first to admit, like like I said, I try to, pick the right songs that kind of group together, but I'll miss, regularly, but it's
rarely.
Well, I guess maybe I'm just being more
we're our
super
own
critical.
We're our own worst critic.
But
I rather have music.
Yeah, like it's exactly.
Yeah.
And even if I if I throw I'll throw a song on and think, okay, this the vibe is going this way, like I think this will work, and then it doesn't. Like it's a matter of like reading the room, right, and seeing like, okay, it's not working. Let me quickly adjust. And I'm sure, like with you, as far as the fashion industry, right? It's your ability to read the room and kind of anticipate what the next
100%
is. Like how do you like how in your early days, as far as creating fashion and all that, like how did you like kind of start to have the foresight to see what was going to be a hit as far as fashion is concerned down the road?
You know what the weirdest thing is, that my brother Dominic told me this, and I just stuck with it. He was just like, if you like it, somebody else will. And I don't know what that did, but it just did enough for me that I'd never second guess myself. I'm already very confident in what I do, but I think that's what it really set me over the top. That when I made something, I was excited, and I just had to see it. The world needed it. It was just like, it's that. Yeah, it's the push. I think it's more or less also the push of it. But I seen this time around, like I see how everything gets magnified.
Yeah.
And we're just from a carnal, more of a generation, face to face, meet up, that is just crazy to see how quick things spread on just a thought, an idea. You can wake up, say something, and that can be it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a totally different era that when it comes to fashion wise, I think the fact that everything has kind of diluted pretty much actually to the skate look, which is really a thrift store look, which is like a white t-shirt or whatever t-shirt that's cheap, some tight pants and some Vans. You still see that a lot, which is like a common look, and then you just add your additional to it. So then right now I'm just kind of like, I think it's cozy time. Everybody's home. Everybody should be wearing fleece. Everybody should be wearing cozy wear. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it isn't a time of denim outfits and nice suits, and you know what I mean? So it's just like, 100%.
Yeah, I default to cozy. That's
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, 100%.
Well, shoot, we can't go anywhere with this freaking pandemic. So like, it's
seriously.
I mean, I default to cozy anyway. Just
yeah, and especially when everybody's wearing it now, it just seems like this is how it should be. So if anything, I think I can definitely see when it comes to forecasting. By far. Yeah.
Can you please do me a favor and just do like a really dope line of like pajamas?
No problem.
Like,
that's
my like. I want some like cozy pajamas, but I want them to be like fancy pants.
Okay.
Like lounge around.
I like a high end pajamas.
See, exactly. So I could sleep in them, but then I could also check the mail in them without anybody looking at me.
Exactly. It could be a blazer when you're getting the mail. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm seeing permanent creases.
Yes. Can I get a terry cloth blazer?
Yes, a terry, of course.
Ava.
No comb. Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah, it's definitely a season.
That's all I need. I need a dope line of PJs.
Yeah, that's a keeper though.
Yeah.
Yo, remember the onesies that had the plastic white bottoms as a kid? Sweaty feet.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the rubber. Yeah.
Those sucked.
Yeah.
I love them.
Those are trash.
Yeah. They're these Gabaggio.
They were trash.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what you're saying too.
And it tore up at the foot. Started cracking.
Yep.
Every time.
I think a lot of, and this, I mean, it ties into even the, Swivel being a DJ. It's the empathy. You know what I mean? Like, it's ultimately tapping into how you feel and the energy that you feel great with. Other people are going to connect with you. And I think it goes beyond. I think a lot of times what I've seen is people gravitate towards a lifestyle that they may want. So they may be, a regular Joe Smo, or may live in in an affluent neighborhood that want to be a D-boy, You know what I'm saying? So they start dressing like that, or vice versa. You may come from the mud, but you want to dress like Jay-Z and all the
Because
all of them.
clothing
But
does a lot.
Yeah, it does.
it does a lot.
The
But
way
I
you
think
walk,
the
the way you
things that
talk.
the things that connect are the ones that's like, yo, this is just my true authentic self. Like I give a lot of credit to the Pharrells and the Tyler, the creators of the world, that were the skaters that were like, yo, I just want some fly different, some different stuff. I just want to look different. I just want to be different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And made it work. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people gravitated towards that even weren't skaters or along that line, because it was like, yo, I can appreciate how they feel, and I want to feel that way too.
I'll keep it erect, even bust like this. My favorite skater of all times, man, is Keenan Milton. Keenan Milton, man, he passed away when I was in high school from the chocolate team. Now, the black skaters, if you really love him, man, was like Stevie, hella cool, the homie. You took Kareem. You got Rashawn Moses. There's not just like five. You know what I mean? During the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the 1990s, late 90s, wearing dunks and playing basketball and skateboarding, I was just a wigger. Like, and I'm hanging around. Don't need to talk about sex, but I'm around sets too. Like, I'm around real ones. Like, I'm around how we had to do it in high school. You had to, that's what it was. To see, like I said, this whole thing of me just want to be in a skate shop in 2001 to even seeing the ship of Pharrell come out, and then even be able to work around him and work with him, to take Tyler even having a chance.
Yeah,
man.
Period. That is just like, yo, it's amazing that it's like, it's kind of like how I talked to TJ, like, yo, you're the godfather of, before all this, everybody was just wearing big pants. You made it tailored. He's the one that made it tailored. Like, he made it the look. Yeah. He made it a cut. And I was just like, yo, man, it's amazing, I guess, if it's empathy, or I see it also as a point of like, it's actually your purpose. Like, it's me asking Swivel, like, how many people think about you've affected their lives for the fact that now is forever? In concerts, you have had them in trance, like just a trance. That's what you do. Now, is it really you? Is it your hours of working? Yeah, you did the work, but when you think about your purpose and your vessel, and when you're in purpose, whatever it is, as it shifts in seasons, it's always bigger than what you can explain.
Yeah,
right.
You can't explain how everybody worked it, and it's all on you, and it has nothing to do with you, and you know that.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Just so you know, Nicholas, I'm a track and field coach as well, and like when it comes to kind of touching on what Foz was saying, like with the fashion, I feel like it also like brings a heightened level of confidence in yourself. Like when you're dressed and you're expressing yourself the way you want to through fashion. And for me, like from the coaching side of it, especially like at a championship type meet, like I'm trying to kind of dress up to a degree as far as athletic apparel is concerned, but I'm having my outfit nice and coordinated, and if I feel like everything is like nice and hidden, then my confidence is way up, and I'm walking around with high level of confidence. My athletes feed off of that energy
for sure,
and they perform well, and
day and night.
It's hell, like you could even liken it to pimps on the street, like when they're dressed to the nines.
all I'm about to say, I was like, if we wore suits, because I'm a big fan of suits, but my whole family's Southern. I was raised in the church, so it was just like, if men wore suits and we would walk, especially if black men wore suits, and I'm talking about a person that I feel like it's even my fault. Like, I'll talk on multiple levels of me. We are a generation that we should be leaving the adolescents look at adolescence. But how the hip hop and how this has been expanded in our generation, in our lifetime, is just like this is what it is now. You know what I mean? But I feel like if we went to just suits, even with different textiles or whatever it is, and women wear suits, you're going to conduct yourself different. You're going to walk out different. You're going to talk different. You're not going to be sad. You're going to be approached differently. You're going to want different haircuts. You're going to want you see yourself differently. And it's amazing how it's happened. I'm talking about, if you guys knew before, I had long locks even like a year ago. And I just go through so many different stages. So I get it. Like, I'm like, even clothes in general is armor of what God has already given you. So you got to think about what you're putting on top of it. You know what I mean, though? So it's like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I believe it. And, you know, I feel as though, because I grew up in church as well. My dad was a pastor. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, you have a different energy according to how you look and how you kind of equip yourself, right?
100%.
Simultaneously, though, I think because of that programming of being forced to have to wear a suit and forced to talk away, you know, think away, you know, look a particular way, it caused a high level of rebellion. And my rebellion didn't start until later on in life, where I was a little bit more calculated, but then I also had hip hop early on, you know, and I think the thing that I appreciate with my journey, and even just kind of in lines of what you're talking about, is that you can still kind of have that same level of respect and regard and be upright even outside of the suit. Like, I agree with you. I think every man should, you know, we should normalize wearing suits and being kind of the dapper, you know, the dapper dance type of the world, you know what I'm saying? But I do appreciate the fact that it's becoming more normalized for Black men to be accepted in casual wear in professional
100%
territory. You know what I'm saying? The same way that white men can be able to pop up with just like a blazer and some Vans. You know what I'm saying? It's like Black men are able to pull up and do the same, you know?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big switch. Even for me being a person tatted all the way up, even what tattoos are expressed with now. But what the thing about it though, they should have a documentary on Netflix called Church. It should just be Church. It is talking about church.
Man.
But the thing about it though is that suits aren't looked at anymore like Rat Pack. Suits used to be cool.
Yeah.
Suits had nothing to do with corporate and like you used to just be cool. Like, oh, I'm stepping out. You like pimps. Like, oh no, it used to just be a suit. Like, oh yeah, I'm stepping out. I got cufflinks. These are women pay attention. Pay attention to this belt. Yeah, this tie is nice. Yeah, like I care about myself. It was those things. That's what I'm saying.
That's my dad.
Suspenders. I don't need a belt today.
Randy
you know what I mean?
A suit everywhere. Randy goes to the liquor store in a whole 3-piece suit. No, I'm serious. Like I'm not
so respectable.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But do you think a lot of that has to deal with because I don't want to undermine it. I know that this was oftentimes a lot of what hindered me was like price points. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that that comes from an urban area that may not necessarily be able to afford like a nice tailored suit or even be able to pull in. Like I was fortunate enough to have a grandmother that sewed. So I had paisley, unique designs, you know what I mean? Like I had things that were tailored to fit, you know what I'm saying? But as I got older and started was like, I'm struggling, and it comes down to, am I gonna eat with these $3 or put gas in the car?
100%.
A suit was never gonna be on my radar. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, bro, like sense. I can't afford anything that's nice, and what I can afford doesn't look good on me. You know?
Did you ever have Jordans?
No, I didn't get my first pair of Jordans until what was it, like 2 years ago. Okay,
I respect you. You're from like my homies.
Yeah, like, I'm different. Yeah,
because I'm saying like for
125,
if you spend like 125 on a pair of shoes, you can nowadays get 3 suits tailored.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just one of those things of this, like, I think is this also with our generation, man, we created what makes the world move right now.
Yep.
It's kind of different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't realize we are born in this little area. We're a little tribe from Southern California as blacks. We're in heaven in California. Everybody wants to go to California, and then Southern California. We are this. So for us, we are the creators of this. So it's like, it is harder for us. This is really what we are. But I see, like, when it comes to us holding how we walk and talk, I remember even the suspenders, a white t-shirt, and jeans. I just remember just like my grandfather and my older uncles, just how they looked as men. That's how they talked. And these are men, you know?
Yeah.
I just understood. I never got why they didn't talk that much. But as I got older, I realized why they don't talk. They did the work. In this generation, all they do, I mean, now all it is just talking. You see a shift of just looking nice. You didn't have to say you were because you look nice.
Yeah.
You didn't have to just talk about the work you did because it showed in what you did. And that was just what it was. You know what I mean, though? Like, even this being like we love it. We're from California. We're from this culture, but my family's from Texas. My grandfather wore these. We worked in this. We're from this. That you see it evolve, and now it's hip hop, and it's West Coast, and it's all this other. But this is Texas. This is Mississippi. This is Alabama. This is the same. This is Creek. This is Seminoles. This is the same. This is us.
Yeah.
It's us.
It's real.
You know what I mean?
Man, that's a bar.
That is an ultra bar. Definitely, man. Kickback University, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, brother, I greatly appreciate. This conversation. It goes back to confirming why we have this platform for artists and creatives and intelligent individuals like yourself to be able to come on and expound beyond just what it is that you do, but be able to express who you are and show not just our audience, but also your fan base, give them more insight of who you are, you know what I'm saying? And why you do what it is that you do. So thank you for your time, your energy. Thank you for being on this platform with us, man. I definitely want the audience to kind of have an insight on what it is that you maybe be working on, if you care to share, or something that you have coming up. Anything that we can look forward to, or
I'm having my art collection that I'm releasing in the next 3 weeks. I'm very excited about. So yeah, it's actually going to be just my painting. So I got some paintings I'm releasing. They mean a lot to me.
Fly black man. Yeah. I love hearing that, bro. So where can we? Go ahead, Swift.
I was gonna say, do you have an actual date locked in for the release, or is it still kind of pending?
It's still pending right now. To tell you the truth, the gallery is just waiting for it. I just need to send it off. So I'm going to finish these pieces. My goal is by the end of this week. So yeah, as soon as I finish this collection, that's the biggest thing I'm excited about. And then after that is by far going to go to the decor that I'm working on next.
Better fly, black man. And where can the people find out and keep up? With all the details.
You can do St. Nicholas MF Mayfield first on IG. Nicholas Mayfield over everything.com is my website. And Nicholas Mayfield over everything at Gmail. Hit me up if you need anything.
Man,
there it is, man. I want to thank you for your creativity and your impact just on the fashion world, just because I've seen it when I was DJing for you and I, starting the end of 2006. I've seen these brands. You remember? We did a photo shoot together, right? I know you remember that. Because Thurs is my brother, man. Thurs, man. Yeah.
Thurs is my guy.
Yeah, man. Thurs, man.
From day one, but seeing, what you were saying earlier, Nicholas, as far as it's California, it's West Coast, it's us, guys like yourself, how you've impacted not only a generation, but different cultures across the United States and the world. When when I started touring like out of the country, like seeing a lot of these Americans in other countries, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, you know, just a testament to what you were saying earlier, as far as like just sticking with it, just keep doing it, and eventually it's gonna hit. And so, you know, props to you for
Thanks,
doing
brother,
exactly
man.
that, man.
Yep, and I'm absolutely looking forward to your line of quarantine couture coming out.
Yes. Thank you. That's what I should have said. That collection. That's what we should be looking up forward to next. And I'm excited about that.
Okay.
I'll be first in line for my terry cloth blazer, so I can check the mail in fashion.
Do we need to?
Yes.
Do we need to have Foz hit
permanent crease?
What, quarantine couture?
Yeah.
Certainly. Go right ahead, Mr. Foz.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world, the ideas and the expressions that have been expressed here on the Kickback Show is subsidiaries and parent companies by Tiana Giovanna, Nicholas Mayfield, and his parent companies and subsidiaries are sole propriety of the subsidiaries and parent companies. So don't be trying to bite our style.
Yeah. Stamp.
Yeah.
There
That part. Yeah, man. I had to echo that too, man, and say thank you for the innovation. YO was the first person that I saw with the drop the crotch style. You and I Thurs and them was the first ones that I seen with the tailor fit, skin, you know, the skinny jeans, you know, fitted jeans, fitted fits, and all of that. Which really truly inspired me to kind of start stepping my game up.
That's dope.
Along with Brother Swiv, you know what I'm saying? But I greatly appreciate all of your contributions, and I'm glad that you flexed in the beginning the name drop, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely necessary, brother. So, yeah, man, greatly appreciate
you guys, man.
Yeah, man. And off top, this is an open forum, bro, open door policy. So at any given time, you know, you want to come back, you want to share something, you want to express something, you got something popping, don't even have to ask, brother. Just let us know and we'll connect the dots, bro.
Well, for sure, like, for sure, when you lock in the date for the release of your artwork, like, you know, let's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Please
it's
come back.
official.
Yeah, man.
The little agree.
Yeah.
Yo, man, it's an honor once again, man. Anything you guys ever need, man, just reach out to me, man. Outside of this, man. Yeah,
Definitely.
I got you.
Well,
thank you.
Again, I need my hat back, so just put it on the front door. I'll just come by and pick it up.
How do I work it out? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I just get it up off the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, my people hit your people. You know, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yeah, you know. All right, for sure.
Man, Nicholas Mayfield, man, greatly appreciate it once again. And as always, this is the Kickback Show, thekickbackshow.com. I was about to say Kickback Show University. Hopefully y'all learned something today and definitely feel inspired, man. Follow my brother, stay up to date with everything that he's going on, support my guy. And as always, I am WaveCap Johnny on Instagram and Twitter, and she is...
I am Tiana Giovanna across the board and tianagiovanna.com. He is
DJ Swivel on Twitter, Swivel on Instagram, SWIVLL, and Nicholas Mayfield. One more time, can you shout out your socials just so people can make sure they stay intact with you?
St. Nicholas MF Mayfield first on IG and nicholasmayfieldovereverything.com. Guys, stay blessed.
Thank you.
Blessings to you, brother. Absolutely.
All right,
So, until next time, peace.
Till next time.
Don't miss a beat. Kick that beat. Follow us on social media at The Kickback Show. Kickback on everything.